Hey everybody, welcome to Powerhouse Evening Church. This is Kevin and Dusty here.
Hey guys.
It was great hanging out with you last week. We celebrated Easter together. And in addition to all of the Easter eggs and fun time celebrating the resurrection, I saw a ton of bunnies, but I didn't see any kittens there. So I'm wondering why Dusty showed up this week with a kitten on his shirt.
I don't know. I feel like he needs a break. Everybody needs a break, right? Why not a cat?
Okay. So spring break kitten it is.
Yeah.
Right?
I like it.
I always love road trips, and Powerhouse Church is about to take its own version of a road trip. Starting this very next week, for the next 3 weeks in a row, we're going to be meeting at Oak Hills Church off of Blue Ravine Road here in Folsom. That's 1100 Blue Ravine. And everything will be similar in the sense of its starting time. We'll start with dinner at 5 o'clock. We'll have our service after that. We'll have stuff going on for the kids, but the location will be different. We'll be at Oak Hills Church.
Hey, speaking of big events coming up, we have something super awesome for the youth going on. If you're between the ages of 12 and 18, please make sure to get your buns out here. We're going to have a super fun event going on. It's a full afternoon of training at a UFC gym. That's right, training at a UFC gym. This is going to go ahead and, we're going to meet at 320 Montrose Drive at 3 p.m. And make sure to, in that process, bring a waiver signed by your parents. That's very important. As well as bring yourself hungry. That's super important as well.
Yeah. Working out always makes me hungry afterwards, too. We love to eat together as a family. We do it every night we're together. And if you call this place home, I'd love to throw something out there for you. If you want to get involved to kind of take that next step to connecting with people, a really fantastic way to do that is to be involved in some of the teams that help the night go. Mm-hmm. The kitchen team and the prayer team are looking for folks who want to be involved. And it's a great way not only to connect with others, but to move from being a someone who comes as a spectator into participating into the service. And it's a really good way, when you call this home, to get even closer with your family. Hey guys, let's get ready for some worship tonight.
All right, everyone, can we just stand up and just get ready to worship? So I was just reminded of just the incredible things that happens when God moves. And, we see Moses, and he was just overwhelmed with the glory of God. We see other disciples that he encountered in their lives were changed. And I just want to encourage us to just be willing to open ourselves up to God, because he still moves today like he moved before. He's not dead. He's alive. He's moving. And he wants to touch our hearts every moment of the day. So can we just lift our hands if you're willing? God, we say we are so open to whatever you have for us today. We want to encounter the living God. In Genesis, you say you breathe life into our lungs. So God, we speak back to you and we say we're so thankful. And God, we just want to know our Creator. So let us worship. turns to praises. And where you are, no heart's left unchanged. So come, move, let justice roll on like a river. Let worship turn into revival. Lord, lead us back to you. Oh, we sing. And when you move, the outcast finds a family. When you move, the orphan finds a home. Lord, here we are. Oh, teach us how to love mercy. With humble hearts, we bow down at your throne. And we sing, so come, move, let justice roll on like a river. Let worship turn into revival. Lord, lead us back to you. Oh, we sing, so come, move. Let justice roll on like a river. Let worship turn into revival. Lord, lead us back to you. You're our King, you're our King, so we sing. King of all generations, let every tongue and nation surrender all to you alone. Can you guys sing that? King of all generations. King of all generations, let every tongue and nation surrender all to you alone. Alone. So come, move, let justice roll on like a river. Let worship turn into revival. Lord, lead us back to you. Let's sing that again. Let me hear your voices. So come, move. Let justice roll on like a river. Let worship turn into revival. Lord, lead us back to you. So come, move, let justice roll on like a river. Let worship turn into revival. Lord, lead us back to you. Oh, we sing, King, King of all generations, let every tongue and nation surrender all to you alone. If that's your song tonight, sing King. The King of all generations, let every tongue and nation surrender all to you alone. Alone. So come, move, let justice roll on like a river. Let worship turn into revival. Lead us back to you. So come, move, let justice roll on like a river. Let worship turn into revival. Lord, lead us back to you. Even when we think we're far away, you lead us back to you. Lead us back to you. Just lift your own song to Him. If you want to be met by God, yeah, lead us back to you. Lead us back to you, God. Let justice roll on like a river. Let worship turn into revival. Lead us back to you. Life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. Come on, lift your voices. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. And great are you, Lord. Oh, we say, you give life, you are love, bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. And great are you, Lord. Oh, we say, it's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. To you only. You're so worthy of our praise. Oh, we lift our voices to you, all the earth. And all the earth will shout your praise. Come on, our hearts will cry, hey, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Come on, a little louder. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. All right, one more time. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath, it's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Yeah. And great are you, Lord. Lift your voices. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. We remember everything you've done for us. Yeah. Great are you, Lord. You're the King of our hearts. Great are you, Lord. Let's just sit in this moment for a minute. Just remembering all the things that God has done for us. The way He pursued us when we were far away from Him. The way He showed His great mercy on the cross. The way He constantly tells us that He loves us, no matter how many times we make mistakes, that we are His sons and we are His daughters. So that just helps us say, great are you, Lord, for you are worthy of all the praises. So let's sing great one more time. And great are you, Lord. We remember, great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord, for your faithfulness. Yeah. And great are you, Lord. One more time, just the voices. And great are you, Lord. Amen.
I see the cloud, and I step in. I want to see your glory like Moses did. Flashes of light, rolls of thunder, but I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. So show me your glory. Show me your glory. Show me your glory. Show me your glory. I'm awed by your beauty. I'm lost in your eyes. I long to walk in your presence like Jesus did. Your glory surrounds me, and I'm overwhelmed. to stay in your presence. It's where I belong. Long to look on the face of the one that I love. Long to stay in your presence. It's where I belong. God, we just thank you for your presence, for this safe place where we can run and it's accessible no matter where we are. God, we just pray that your presence would just be, I already feel it, but I just pray that it would be in this room and it would stay in this room. And this room doesn't even matter. God, I just pray that every time we're together, God, that it would feel home, home, and it would feel safe. God, we know that where your love is, fear can't be. It doesn't work like that. God, so we just trade. We give you all our fears. We give you all our doubts. We give you all the lies. We give you all the made up stuff in our head. God, and we just ask you, would you just replace it all with your love, with your joy, with your peace? We just breathe it in and we keep it there. And we love you. Amen.
Amen. That was good, yeah? I love that last song. We've been singing that together for years, but it just gets me. Because I think, that's where I am. I just long to see God move. I was thinking this question as I was sitting in the back, that if we were in the midst of a great move of God right now, would we know? And what would be the thing that actually moved us to recognize that God was about to do something great? I had the weirdest upbringing. My name's Josh, by the way. I'm one of the pastors here, if you don't know that. But I had the weirdest upbringing, and I'm going to say that in front of my mother, who's in the audience tonight. But I was raised. I don't even want to say I was raised in the church, because I really wasn't. I was raised in the middle of a battlefield, but not really. I was a Powerhouse baby. So we figured it out. This is Powerhouse's 29th year in existence. And that's wild. And if you haven't figured that out, church is a new thing to us. We actually didn't start out doing that. The story of Powerhouse is wild, and it really begins with Nancy, with my mom, just being brave and hearing. I don't know what happened for what she would say, that she heard the Lord say what are you doing about this? But I think what she encountered was this problem. For those of you guys that know our stories, or those of you guys that don't, my dad was a contractor managing part of the construction on new Folsom Prison, and so they moved here from LA to take on that project. And when they saw the women and children standing in line at the Folsom Prison, my mom's heart broke, and my dad maybe didn't care. I don't know. My dad was oh, church is weird. I don't know. But my mom's heart broke and went why isn't the church right here? And that led to Bible studies in people's apartments that she met that day, led to somebody giving a building to her and saying, you can only have this if you incorporate and become a church. And so she did. And it's just this wild faith story, but I don't know if I was there, I would have recognized it. Because I think how many of us have been in situations like that where we felt a feeling and went it'll pass, or somebody should, I can't tell you how many times in leadership I've heard this where somebody's Josh, you should really do this. And I'm no, how about, will you do that, please? Because that sounds like a you thing, not a me thing. Maybe God is speaking to you, please go do that. Don't give that to me. But I'm trying not to. How am I doing, Jordan? Am I juking you out? They told me that I lean left and I go right. So I'm just gonna try to. Did that one get you? Oh no, okay, all right, he's good. But if there was a move of God, would we even know? You know, I remember this one time me and my mom were walking into the office at Powerhouse, and it's not uncommon for there to be really strange things outside of our other building. We have like a resource center where people can come in and get help with whatever they need. And on this particular day, there was a homeless person that had recently robbed the laundromat and had adorned himself with women's underwear, I guess, is the best way. This is weird. This is church. This is the church you came to tonight. Welcome. But yeah, we're going here. I'm really sorry about that. That's awkward. I didn't think about this. We're filming too. That's great. Okay, so there's this guy, and he has this stuff all over, and he has this stick. You can't make this stuff up, but he has this stick, and it has more of these things wrapped around the stick. And me and my mom are walking, and I see him, and I do like the son thing. Like, he's over there, my mom's right here. I like walk around to this side, and we get really close. Am I going to say this? I guess I'm going to say this. We get really close, and he looks at my mom and says, "I'm going to rape you." And me being a son, I'm ready to fight. I'm like, I'm going to kill you. Like, that's my response. Like, you're going to do that, and I'm going to, like, kick you. I don't know what I'm going to do. And my mom jumps out before, I'm telling you this because I need you to understand my childhood and my upbringing. So my mom, quicker than me, like a little blonde ninja, jumps out. I thought she was going to slap him, but she didn't. She just puts her hand right on his forehead and begins to pray. And he just, like, crumbles to his knees. And, yeah, it's wild but crazy, right? We can clap, but I was not ready for that. I was more scared then of my mom. I was like, what are you doing? But she got him down. I was going to, I don't know. But I won't say that. But and this guy, he on his knees just begins to confess just some of the trauma that he went through as a kid. And it's funny how you can, like, encounter something that's crazy. And even me, I walk into the situation, like, ready to fight. And God moves. And I'm like, what? I didn't see that coming. And I guess I began, and I don't know when this started. Maybe it was going to churches all my life, or like I expected moves of God to like we would all know. Like, it was that worship service that I went to, like, youth camp at, you know? And at the end, they play 4 songs instead of 3, and the last one got us all crying, you know, and that I'm not trying to belittle it, but like, that was the move of God, you know. And then so we'd go to church, and we'd be like, you know, is that going to happen again? And how would we know? Well, the pastor would tell us, right? Like, the pastor would tell us, or the worship leader would tell us. Somebody would tell us, and then we would find ourselves in the middle of a move of God, and then my life would be different. And I hate to break this. So we're in this new series. It's called On the Move, because I really want to try to answer this question: how the heck would we know if God was moving, and how do we follow him? And what I found might actually bug you. I hope that's okay, but it might bug you. So I was scouring through the Old Testament and looking for every single time God moved and did something spectacular. And what I found was he moved in the midst of wars, in the midst of trials, terrible times, in the midst of nations being enslaved and people being hurt. He moved in the midst of floods and tragedy and death and fighting and stealing and selfishness. And then we go to the New Testament, and like, Jesus is there. It's all better now. And he moved in the midst of sickness and death and problems and nations warring. And I began to realize that the way that I would discover that God was about to move is when I discovered we have a problem. And this is a scary thing for us to actually, like, take hold of as a church, because we want to say, like, when God moves, heaven comes to earth, and it does. But when God moves, everything is okay. Everything that was bad is now okay again. But I have to tell you that if everything was bad and it's okay again, you've actually showed up after God moved, not while he was moving. So I don't know if this is, so I found this. I've gone through something horrible, and what do we do when we go through something horrible? We complain, right? So that's me. I'd complain. I'm going through this horrible thing. I'd complain to my mom. I'd complain to my wife. I'd complain to some of you guys. And then like it'd get a little bit better. And then what would I do? I would complain and worry that like it was going to get worse again, right? And so I'd get here. And then like 5 years later, somebody would be talking about something and I'd go like, oh, like God totally helped me out of that. You know what I mean? Like the testimony always comes 5 years late. And here's the problem with that. It means that like we are 5 years behind what God is actually doing. Ouch. I don't want to be 5 years behind what God's actually doing. I want to be like right here. And sometimes we go like, we show up after the miracle and we're like, did I get you? I'm throwing him off. I'm seeing it now though. I'm seeing that I moved too quick. I got it. All right, I'm going to stop. All right. That was like, okay, all right. I get it. Kyle, I hear you. All right. I'm going to try to just stand right here. I don't want to show up 5 years late to when God moved. And I feel like that happens, you know, there's like 100 different denominations. There's probably more than that of Christianity, but there's these 100 different denominations that have different traditions. And I find that many of them actually were in a response to a great revival. So a great revival would happen, God would move, and then they go, how do we make sure that this can always happen again and never, like, we can never mess this up? And then we create traditions. And then we do the same thing for 10 years. Going like, well, where's God now? Well, sometimes we create this scenario where there's no problems anymore. We actually protect ourselves, having our perfect social club, our perfect situation that doesn't actually require God to move. Man, I don't want that. I want to be right there where God's moving. And so the first step to knowing that there's about to be a move of God, and this is a good step. If you're in pain right now, if you're going through something right now, the first step is there's a problem. Yeah. And can I just be real? And I just want to be real for a second. There's a problem inside all of us. Like we never get to this point where it's like, oh, I've arrived at perfect Christianity now. Like let me give you what I have to offer and be blessed by my maturity. Like it's not for me, at least. That's what they say. That never happened to me. It's not this moment of arrival. There's this problem in all of us. And we're supposed to feel that way. We're supposed to actually, if you are not satisfied, do you know that you're not actually supposed to be like satisfied just as you are? Like if you're hungry for something greater, like that God did that to you. I'm so sorry. Like he put that hunger inside of you. If this is stirring up something in you, then good. That's awesome. That's how it's supposed to work. He actually made us not supposed to be satisfied with the world and the way things are, that we are supposed to hunger and thirst for him, for heaven, for his righteousness, for him to come and move and do what he does. And it's not enough if he doesn't. Shez, I might invite you to come and play with us. Got some notes, we'll pull them out. So here's one of the problems. If one of the signs God moves is there's pain. We actually live in a culture that doesn't want to feel anything. We actually do as much as humanly possible to turn off any amount of emotion or feeling. Had a bad day? Get an ice cream. Just zone out, watch TV. Or be like me. How many of you guys lay in your bed and just scroll? Because if you're scrolling, you're not thinking. And you might not say it like that. Like you might just, it's just Instagram or whatever it is. Like you might not say it like that, but really it's like, it's how do I turn off? You've heard it this way. How do I turn off and disconnect? But what if you're not supposed to? What if when God says he wants all of you, he means actually all of you? Like wants you to feel unsatisfied. It's sort of like, imagine going to the doctor because you've got this freckle on your arm. And you're like, hey, I've got this freckle and it looks really weird. And he's like, oh, I can fix that. And just like, grabs your sleeve, pulls it down a little lower. He's like, be healed. And then and go on your way. It's sort of like that. It's this cover-up thing. It's this distraction thing. Or some of us, these are my favorite kind of people. We've got the overreactor crowd. You know what I mean? Like, you got this freckle on your arm. They're like, my uncle had something like that once. And what you really need to do is just cut off the whole arm. You know what I mean? Like, just take it from just go the whole thing, and then you will be safe. And that's the other way, right? Like, this person hurt me, so I will run as far away from them as possible, never to encounter that pain again. I will create this protective bubble that I will live in. And this is why even people say, I don't want to go to church. You've heard this. I believe in God, but not in the church. Well, yeah, because they hurt you. And in a perfect world, nobody would ever get hurt, but God created this world where they do. And often pain is the best indicator that we could ever have that tells us something inside of me needs to change. Why, when I'm next to this person, do I get insecure? Why do they bother me? And the solution isn't just to cut everything off. And I know we usually teach the other side, and so I'm teaching a different angle tonight. Because there is that place for boundaries of going this is unhealthy and I'm gonna walk away. I don't want to say that doesn't exist, but I also want to just preach the other side that says hey, sometimes you need to stay and be uncomfortable. And sometimes the best thing that can ever happen is a conversation and an apology and asking the Holy Spirit to move and expose your heart of why it's like that. So many people cut it all off and walk away. There's this thing in addiction that they say that the moment that you started using is actually the age that you stop maturing. Because the moment you start using something to cover up every problem, you stop dealing with it. We have a little baby girl, and she knows how to do almost nothing, but is really down to try everything, including, hey, she's going to come preach right now. So she's learning. She can climb up on the couch and she can jump off of it. It's not always the best idea, but she can. She can open every drawer in our kitchen, and some of those drawers have chemicals she shouldn't get into, and knives and sharp objects, and she would play with them she would love that. But she shouldn't. And there is a moment where where Lisa, my wife, was walking her up the stairs and holding her hands, going you can do this. And without Lisa's hand, she would fall. And I think that's the way the Lord is too, that when we're doing things, we're going to do things in life that are so hard, that are so difficult, that are so out of our norm, that are that hurt, that are painful. But God actually wants us to walk through that stuff. You will be better if you walk through that stuff. And maybe that person that God put in your life that you wanted to run away from, maybe they were actually there to give you a gift. when Lisa and I were first dating, I was trying to impress her, and I took her to sushi. Hate sushi. It's nasty. If you like sushi, that's cool. You can still stay, but it's gross. And I didn't have a lot of money, and I had some cash in my wallet, and I paid for her because that's the gentlemanly thing to do, and I pulled out this cash and paid for the dinner and walked out. I was walking her to my car, and there was this guy with a shopping cart that had lots of weird objects in it, standing out front, and he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you have like $5 I can have?" And I'm like, "Oh no, sorry, I don't." And so Lisa and I keep walking. We get in my car. I open the door for her because, that's what you're supposed to do. And I put her in, and then I'm walking around to the other side, and I realize, I'm like, oh, shoot. Lisa knew that I had money and heard me lie to this guy. So I get in the car. I'm like, that's not going to impress this girl. So I get in the car, and I'm trying to explain to Lisa why I know better. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, Lisa, so I know I did have money and you knew that I had money, but like if I give it to him, he's probably gonna like maybe spend it on drugs or something. And it's really probably better that I don't keep the cycle going and so that's why I didn't. And she's like, oh, okay. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm such an idiot. And I'm like, actually, I'm gonna go give him money. And so I get out of the car and I walk back to this guy and I hand him $5. And I didn't have a lot of money at the time, but I give him $5, and he's like, dude, thanks so much, man. I just really appreciate it. People walk by me all the time, and they don't give me anything. And hey, bro, do you want to hit this joint? And so I say no, obviously. And then I'm walking back to the car, and I'm like, I am such an idiot. And I feel the voice of the Lord speak to me and say, that wasn't actually for him, that was for you. I wanted to know if you would give me $5. That wasn't for Lisa. I was testing your heart. And so I don't know who you're encountering. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what the situation is. But I promise you, if you feel above the lesson you're learning, or if you feel like that's something else and it's happening to you, that God will still use it. That it's not wasted. That your $5, your effort, whatever it is, isn't wasted. That to go through the hard thing isn't wasted. To explain again and do the hard thing again isn't wasted. I think one of the dangers in our culture is isolation. Here's the truth, that from isolation, from never stepping out, you can live a more pain-free life. But your legacy will be really small. The Bible, Jesus, is actually looking for people that will take risks and change the world. And if you do that, you're going to get really hurt. Just going to be honest. One of the most painful things I've ever done in my life is try to lead something. But it's been from that place that I've seen God move every time. I was talking to Emily. I tasked her with doing an altar call at youth group. And she was like, I've never done an altar call before. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be okay. And I know the fear. If you've ever done anything like that, the fear is the same. Like, it's what if nobody stands up? And somebody's going to stand up. And so she does this altar call, and a bunch of people stand up. But that's the risk, right? Like, you have to be willing to get hurt in order to see God move. I know I'm like beating this to death, but I want to make sure that we get this, because I feel like so often we have Christians that are looking for the comfort lifestyle. In fact, they go like, well, I'm going to go to church now. They'll say this, like, I want to get back to church. And what they really mean is like, I want to like, it's always with everything. Like, I want to get skinny and like stop smoking and go to church. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to like get my life back and like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not the message of Jesus. The message of Jesus is like, hey, all that's cool. Just come like talk to me. Like, just be with me. Hurting, broken, a mess, just be with me. I want to leave you with just these couple things. So what can you do if you're like me and you want to see a move of God in your life, in your family, in your church, and in your community? The first thing you can do is pause and really feel. Whatever it is. And it might not be good. It might be uncomfortable, it might be messy, but the first thing we can do is really just pause and feel what is happening in our life. The second thing, celebrate or grieve. I think so many times we see the miracle 5 years later because we forget to pause and celebrate now. So if there's a miracle that happened, like a bunch of kids receiving Jesus because of Emily's doing that altar call, then can we celebrate for that? Because that happened. I just want to celebrate that. And if you have something to grieve, then grieve. It's like, I feel like we think that we have to have it at this perfect place where a bad thing happens and I'm too blessed to be stressed. You know what I mean? Like, I just, give God the glory, whenever you face trials of many kinds, we just have these like defense mechanisms. And I just want to say, like, it's okay to hurt. Like, he's actually, have you read Psalms? Like, he's really comfortable with complaining. Like, he is. He actually doesn't need you to clean yourself up at all. He just wants to be with you. And if you are whiny and complaining like I am too, that's literally fine. It's okay. The third thing, listen for God to speak. And I know that's weird if you've never heard the Lord speak. Sometimes it's a feeling that you know that isn't yours. Sometimes it's someone that comes up to you that gives you a word. Sometimes it's audible and loud. But every time, it takes you and me having the courage and setting aside the time to stop and to listen. And if you have no idea what he sounds like, read some scripture and then stop and listen. And then do it again and stop and listen. Then do it again and stop and listen, and you'll begin to recognize his voice. And then the final thing, if you want to see God move, is you have to actually move yourself. Bold acts of faith. There's this worship leader that has this song that says, if you're not falling, you're not flying. It's kind of like that. And I love that because it's actually true. That's the way that planes fly, is they generate lift by falling. If you're not falling, you're not flying. If you're not actually taking those bold acts of faith, you're not actually moving. Like, God doesn't just sit there. He's moving. Going from situation to situation, bringing the kingdom of heaven to earth, and wants you to come with him. I'm going to pray, and then I have a quick announcement, then we're going to close. So Jesus, we just invite you to come and move in our hearts. And God, we just commit to you to feel all of the feelings we're afraid of, to celebrate, to grieve. And more than anything, Jesus, we just want to be close to you. We want to go where you're going. We don't want to be 5 years behind. We worship you. In your name, amen. Hey, a real quick announcement. You're going to probably hear it again on the outro in a second, but for the next 3 weeks, we are actually, Mount Olive is redoing the floors in this room, which means we have to move. So for the next 3 weeks, Oak Hills Church has actually given us some space to set up, which is amazing. So we will actually be meeting same time, different place, Oak Hills Church, 5 o'clock with a meal, dinner, worship. And we hope that you guys will join us there. I know it's out of our comfort zone, out of our area, but I just got to be honest, we're looking for people that are going after this thing with us. And if that's you, let's do it. So I hope you make it over there. We love you. If you need prayer or anything tonight, we've got a team that'll be over here and that I know would love to pray for you. And thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a blessing spending this time with you. What an amazing experience. But don't forget, next week, Oak Hills Church, 5 p.m. Make sure to show up, be there, and give me a big bear hug. I don't know.
That's what he's looking forward to, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.